Hey, everybody, welcome to our debut all sports show. Hoot and B.T are here to talk about all things sports because, well, we decided we talk so much sports that we'll just dedicate a show to it.
Exactly. We were monopolizing so much of the original podcast with sports talk. It's like, why don't we just do a sports show? We're not even technically categorized as a sports show, so we're missing so many people that might be interested in what we have to say.
Right. So, you know, they see it's like, oh, comedy and self-help, and then they listen to it and they're like, this is 95% sports. So we're going to, you know, we split it up a little bit.
So we're going to diversify, but also lean into things that we enjoy.
Right. So this is our sports show, and no better way to kick it off than to talk about March Madness. So the first round was underway yesterday, and everyone's brackets are already ruined. So that's, that's crazy. I thought that the March Madness 12v5 curse was definitely in full swing yesterday. You had St. Mary's is the only 5 seed to have won so far. Of course, you also have, let's see here, Iowa and Richmond. Okay, Richmond upset Iowa for the 12-5. And then what was the other 12-5 upset?
You said Indiana St. Mary's, and then there's also New Mexico State beat UConn.
Oh, that's right.
That was the one that directly
yes.
impacts us as Arkansas Razorback fans.
Yeah,
because
right.
we had anticipating playing the Huskies.
Yes,
and it's completely changed everything.
I'm going to tell you this though. I'll get to that here in just a second. But yeah, St. Mary's is the only 5 seed who has survived so far.
It's been wild. I know that as soon as I started watching the first games, it was like, oh, this is already different. I can tell that there's something has happened to college basketball to where there's been a great equalizer across the universities, and it's so much fun to watch now because it's like there's never a team that's out of a game.
Yeah.
Just because they play from San Diego State University or something.
Right, yeah.
You never know. Those boys could hoop.
Yeah. Well, and I love tournament time because the upsets are incredible. They really are, because any given day, any team can have, every dog has his day, you know what I mean? So we'll see how the final 12v5 game ends up today with UAB being the 12 seed versus 5 seed Houston. That is in the south region of the bracket. So we'll see how that turns out. Now, going back to the UConn game, New Mexico State, UConn. Okay?
I had picked UConn.
Of course you did, because who's not going to pick Connecticut, right? I mean, UConn's an iconic basketball school.
Yeah, no, and I was never going to count out, New Mexico State, but honestly, I can't say I've followed them at all, so I don't know anything about them. And I've seen UConn play this year.
Sure.
And I was like, those boys can play, so I chalked them up to move on to play the Razorbacks.
Yeah,
now, that was my upset, was the Razorbacks were going to beat UConn and keep playing on. But this, like I said, changed the game entirely.
Sure. So here's the deal. The thing that I can say because I actually watched that game yesterday, is if Arkansas shows up on Saturday with the defense that they know how to play, New Mexico State, it will be shut down. Because, no disrespect meant at all, but New Mexico State has Teddy Allen, or Teddy Buckets as they call him. Now, the dude's a shooter, and I mean, he is a baller. You know what I'm saying? But
you shut him down,
and it's over.
Then everybody else has to try to beat you.
Right. It's just like everyone's like, oh, well, all you got to do with Arkansas is shut down J.D. Note. I'm like, yeah. And then you got Stanley Amude, Audis Toney, Jalen Williams, Devo Davis.
There's other options.
Even Chris Likes, they can go in and they can make it happen, right?
Well, this is going to be a big moment for him after what happened, the way he performed last year. He really needs to step it up this year and prove that he's better than that.
You talking about JD?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And last night was not the first half was not a great showing. But here's the deal. This young man came into the second half with 0 points.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And he ended the game with 17 points.
When you're playing a game like that, the second half is the half that you have to win. Ultimately, that's what matters. The first half, be damned. If you win the second quarter, the second half of the game, you're going to win. You're going to win the game because that's final scoreboard.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So Arkansas moves on. I was actually surprised last night before the game started that we were picked to lose.
There was a lot of people. It's the seeding,
sure.
And they needed an upset to put in their bracket. And the Hogs are an easy one to pick because just like we watched last night, sometimes if there's an off shooting night, they can get burned.
Sure.
Fortunately, they stood hard on this one, and they stood in there, and they maintained and they've advanced, while other teams didn't, do the same thing.
And I'm going to say this because I saw your bracket. Boy, in the first half of the Gonzaga game yesterday, I thought, oh my gosh, can you believe this? Georgia State is going to beat Gonzaga. Now, of course, the Zags end up winning by a pretty commanding lead.
Yeah, no, the Zags have been great all year, and I didn't even realize this. I mentioned this to my wife last night after I, re-looked at my bracket after the first round of the games. I've picked Gonzaga to win the national championship for the past 3 years. I didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that now because
they haven't done it.
Because they haven't done it. Why did I do it
again? They can make it to the game.
Yeah.
But see, and here's the deal. Okay, so in the West region, now Arkansas has a very tough time making it to the Final Four from the West because not only do they have to take down Gonzaga, but that would make it to where they also would have to take down Duke.
Yeah.
And, call it what it is. Duke is Duke, and Gonzaga is Gonzaga, and those are teams.
They've earned their level of respect that they've gotten at this point. I mean, the Zags may not be a huge school up in Seattle, but it's still...
It's a commanding school when it comes down to playing this game.
When it comes to playing basketball, they're always a threat.
Oh, yeah. Well, listen, everyone knows my faith does not waver. Okay, so I still have the Arkansas Razorbacks
all the way.
Yes, all the way.
All the way.
I am telling you, I am not that guy. I'm not. I've never been the guy who's like, oh yeah, next year's going to be our year. We're going to win it all. But I am telling you that just from what I see from this team, and could I be wrong? Yeah, probably am actually.
Well, do you do this every year? That's my question because I
pick Arkansas to win.
Yes.
Usually in one bracket, but if I'm going to put my money on one, then I do it right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I always do my fan bracket and I do a real bracket.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I used to do that back in the day, and then I stopped whenever it was always when I was entering into online contests and things for my bracket.
Exactly. You try to actually use your brain.
I actually predict them, and I watched a lot more college basketball than I currently do. The way the European game has impacted the NBA, it's also impacted my television viewing for the NCAA.
Right.
But you can't deny March Madness is a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, yeah. Well, not to mention you have Hawks. A whole day of basketball, every day during this tournament.
And there's the drama. Like, you never know if a Davidson's going to come in here out of nowhere. You never heard of him, but they have this shooter named Curry, and he just catches fire in the tournament. You never know when that's going to happen.
And fingers crossed, Davidson... my wife actually has Davidson upsetting Michigan State. Now, if you look at the records, that's very doable because Davidson has a better record. Now, Michigan State is Michigan State, though, and we are talking about basketball again.
Yeah.
Talking about an upset yesterday that I don't know why. I guess everyone just if you look at the record, you look at the seeding, I guess you do know why. But, Michigan-Colorado State game, I have Michigan winning. It's Michigan Wolverine basketball versus Colorado State. And they're like, yeah, but Colorado State's better. I was like, yeah, they also play in different conferences.
Exactly. You can't ever compare the two.
Yeah, the record, that's the whole thing with everything. The record and the seeding, Vermont had a better record than we did. They also play in a softer conference. I mean, I'm not trying to be any type of way, but I mean, they don't play as good of teams as we do.
So I'm trying to see what are my big upsets that I have remaining that I've picked. I didn't really go anything. I picked Alabama over Notre Dame. Not a big shocker there, but I liked how they played against the Razorbacks. They don't have that same home cooking here in the tournament.
True, but I still pick Alabama over Notre Dame.
Yeah, I picked Texas Tech over Montana State because Montana who?
Yeah, and we're talking about Red Raiders.
Yes, Michigan State and Davidson, that was a tough one, but I did go with the favored team there. I do like Michigan State in that one. Yeah. And Duke and CSU Fullerton. With all respect to CSU Fullerton.
Cal State Fullerton. Okay, yeah.
The Dukies are probably going to make a statement on that game.
The Duke Coach K's will be dominant there.
So we have gotten down to my upset. I did pick Virginia Tech to go over Texas.
Did you?
Because screw Texas. That's why.
Yeah. No, I like it. I like it a lot. We'll find out today. I did pick Texas to win.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I don't have any money riding on this, so I wouldn't mind seeing VT win.
No, yeah,
because
absolutely.
Screw Texas.
Exactly. You can't see it right now. We're not on cam, but down horns all the way in here.
That's right. Horns down.
Yeah. So we got Purdue and Yale. I picked Purdue.
Because it's tournament time and you don't go against Purdue.
I have watched Yale play this year 3 times.
Really?
Because I watch ESPN Plus, and I'll get bored and I'll flip on a college game. And I like watching the Ivy League. So I like watching these smart guys play basketball.
and
they did. Honestly, they played Harvard and Princeton, and I can't remember the other one. I think it was Dartmouth. But I'm not impressed that much. I'm honestly, I don't have a whole lot of positive to say there. Arizona, Wright State. Again, I'm not ignorant here. Arizona.
Yeah, definitely.
All the way. Seton Hall, TCU. This was a tough one, kind of a toss-up game.
Bro, I know.
I went with Seton Hall.
So did I.
But I don't like it.
I don't either. Okay, we're on the same page then, because I did the same thing. I'm like, Seton Hall. And then I look at it, I'm like, but bro, TCU ain't a bunch of scrubs, though.
No,
really
not at all. I've seen them play this year. I know the Horned Frogs are legit.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing I want to jump back on. Please understand earlier, I am not talking smack on Vermont. That was a solid team we played last night.
Yeah.
I mean, they
came to play for sure. That was a big game for them. They were up to play.
Yeah, Vermont was a team. Now I was happy to see them.
And one of the things is you're fortunate that the Hogs were able to play through the struggles of the off shooting night.
Yeah.
That's always a plus, though, because that's a good sign.
Well, but I mean, like, it's an off shooting night for our normal guys, but I mean, hell, Stanley Amude had 19 points. And JD Note had 17. And, you know, I mean, it was off in the first half.
Yeah.
Everyone turned it on in the second, so.
That's true. And it's the NCAA tournament, so all you got to do is catch fire at the right time.
That's right.
That's why any of these predictions can go down, but I'm looking at it, and I went with favors for the rest of them. Houston over UAB, Illinois over Chattanooga, Ohio State over Loyola Chicago.
Yeah.
Villanova over Delaware. These are pretty obvious picks.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, it's the same thing as I said about Purdue. It's bracket time. You're not going to vote out Villanova on the first round.
But here we go. This is where another upset, and I don't know if it's playing homers or if it's the way I feel, honestly. I picked Iowa State to beat LSU.
Really?
Because screw the Tigers.
Okay, so here's the deal. I picked LSU to beat Iowa State, but I'm not going to be upset if I see Iowa State win.
No, not at all. I got Wisconsin over Colgate because I'm always going to pick Wisconsin over a team named after toothpaste.
True that.
USC over Miami. That was a tough one because honestly, there's not a whole lot of difference between those two teams.
There's really not. I mean, not with anything. Like even the way they play. If you've ever watched this year, if you've watched a Miami or a USC game, there's really not that much difference in the teams.
Not at all. They're very comparable the way they play as well. And finally, I picked Auburn to win over Jacksonville State because duh.
Yeah.
And also, the Tigers have really impressed the crap out of me this year. I've seen them play several times, and whenever they're playing their ball, there's nobody in the country that can beat them. They're in every game.
Okay, so just for funsies.
Yep.
What is your Final Four?
All right. My Final Four out of the West and the East is Gonzaga and Kentucky. Wow, wow, wow. Yep. And in the South, I have Houston and Kansas.
Wow, you went Houston again?
I went Houston again.
Just because of the run they made last year?
Because they're on the run again, man. I got a lot of faith in Houston now. Don't get it twisted because national champion Gonzaga. Because like I said earlier, for some reason I'm a Gonzaga homer and didn't even know it.
Yeah, no, I got you. Okay, so West and
Pass
East.
that ball like Stockton.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, that's right. What's popping? Okay, so out of West and East, I have Arkansas, Kentucky.
Wah, wah, wah. That would have been a great rematch, too.
It would have been. Oh, my gosh. And then, let's see. I've got Auburn and Tennessee. I have an all SEC Final Four. I didn't even mean to.
Interesting.
And to be honest, the South, Tennessee's not going to make it. And I know, and I look at the.
Let's see where I have Tennessee dropping off because
I would assume Elite Eight Sweet 16.
Yep, they lose to Houston.
I have them beating Michigan, advancing to the Sweet 16. And of
I
course,
didn't even have Michigan getting this far, so I've already screwed the pooch on that one.
See, and I don't even know why. I'm sitting looking at this now. I have them. I have Tennessee beating Villanova. In the Sweet 16, and that's probably not accurate. And not to mention, they'd still have to go through Arizona.
Yeah.
So if I had
It's
to be
a tough
like,
road to get there, but I mean, even the Razorbacks road would be tough because you have to go through the Zags.
yeah, you got to go through Zags and Duke.
And Duke.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
you have
remember
to-
where I had Duke dropping
You have to
off,
beat
but
John Stockton and Coach K.
Yeah.
And-
And last Coach K.
Yeah.
The last dance Coach
Yeah,
K.
this is the last dance, Coach K. I mean,
Oh, God, are they going to do a documentary?
probably. You know they
Oh, wait,
will.
they already have.
Yeah, they've already done 7 of them because he's been there since Methuselah. But
And ESPN is up his ass.
yeah, well, and now so is AT&T. Nick Saban's out, baby. Now it's time for Coach K. Have you seen the commercials
No.
all over the tournament yesterday?
No, I wasn't paying attention. When
Okay,
commercials
so
come on,
they have the Lily with AT&T, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well now they have Lily and Coach K where like he's interviewing for a job.
My God.
And she's like, so it says here you're really good at managing teams. Have you ever managed a store? And he's like, I'm just pretty confident that I'd be great at it. And I don't know. She says, well, we'll be in touch. He's like, you're going to get in touch with me? You mean I don't have this job? And I was like, that's probably pretty accurate, Coach K right there. But,
Well, there's something to say about being overqualified. Because it's true. They'll turn you away if they think you're overqualified.
they don't want to shell out that money.
Yeah. And plus, they don't want to risk. Like, this guy comes in here, he's already going to come in with better experience than I got.
Yeah.
So you got to protect your own, protect your neck.
Yeah,
Wu-Tang.
protect your neck. I was recently watching the Los Angeles Lakers, which is a
Why?
complete train wreck.
Yeah, it's a
It is just god
dumpster
awful.
fire out there in Los
Oh,
Angeles
yeah.
right now.
But you know who the hardest working dude on that floor is right now?
Alex Caruso. Oh, wait.
Oh no,
Oh,
that's in
damn.
Chicago. That's God's
My bad,
country
my
of
bad,
basketball.
my bad.
No, hey man, look, might make your head explode. LeBron James. LeBron James is the hardest working dude.
He's the only
on-
one that cares out there right now.
which I didn't think he did. And boy, he's just going after it right now. He's doing everything he can. And you know me, I do not have anything.
This is a big, exactly. This is a big moment here. You're giving the devil his due here.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is he is third right now in the leading for the scoring average. If he leads the league in scoring at this age, nobody has done that.
Yeah.
That's incredible that he's doing what he's doing. He's the only one that seems like he's doing it. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
Yeah.
And they're just tanking it out there. The Russell Westbrook experiment's been a disaster.
Oh.
I don't know what happened to Russell. I mean, I've never been the biggest fan, but he is better than this. He
Yeah.
is way better than this.
Well, like C. Wayne was a big time Russ fan because he was whenever the Oklahoma City Thunder
Thunder Buddies.
formed. Yeah, they were Thunder buddies. I've never been a huge Russ fan, but I haven't necessarily been a
hater.
Yeah, a hater either. I've always been a LeBron James hater.
I
really.
was always, until recently, a Kevin Durant apologist. I have to admit it from this standpoint that I always stood behind KD when he
Yeah.
was in OKC, and I'm not a Thunder fan.
No.
I'm the opposite of a Thunder fan. I'm still bitter over a Seattle thing. So
Sure.
go ahead, at me over it.
Yeah.
But no, I thought that Kevin Durant was the one that the team needed to build around, that Westbrook needed to know his spot, and James Harden was undeniable that at some point they were going to lose him as a sixth man.
Yeah.
Because you can't have that coming off the bench, and it's just too much
especially
talent.
whenever someone else is saying, no need to come off the bench. You just
Well,
come start.
We
with
would
us.
later come to find out that it just takes one season. Somebody dangle another amount of money in front of him, he'll go right along with it.
Yeah,
And
say
then if he
James don't have any loyalty.
And if he don't like it, he'll just quit. He'll just go
yeah,
home.
hey, because remember these ain't loyal.
Yeah.
I mean, Harden is one of them. He's like, nah, pay me.
But I've never held that against Harden because he kind of was what he was. It was
He's been a gun for hire his
gun
entire
for hire from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he had a good stint with Oklahoma City and with Houston.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's never made any bones about it. He's a gun for hire. If you want to pay me more to come shoot for you, then that's what I'll do.
Yeah, and as soon as it feels like I'm not wanted here, there's problems here,
I'll look for a way out.
I'm shutting down. You guys
Yep.
aren't getting the best out of me because
Yep.
I don't know why he does it that way, but that's how he's always done it. You
See-
know that going in.
Exactly. My whole thing is, do I like that? No, I
Isn't
don't.
he a
I
free
don't.
agent at the end of this year?
At the
believe
end of
so.
this year, he is. But Philadelphia will pick him up.
Yeah, he's played too well, and him and Embiid together. have
Yeah, I
been
would say, and he
dynamic
seems to
duo.
be like by the way he's playing, he seems to be enjoying his time in Philadelphia. So
Yeah, he got back in shape. The crowd seems to love it. You know the Philly fans would.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as the Philly fan is very fickle, though. As soon as he starts doing something wrong,
doesn't matter what sport either, bro. As soon as
be
something gets
prepared to have
a,
batteries thrown at you.
yeah, for real. Those people are animals. I could say that. Okay, I'm a Bulls fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. How about that?
They scare me as a Chicago Bulls fan, though. And even the Nets scare me as a bit of a tailspin that they've been in until Kyrie put it together here lately. Now that he's able to play,
yeah, the unvaxxed Kyrie Irving comes out, bro. But he came out and went off.
Yeah, he did. Dropped 60 points.
Yes, bro. That was.
It's been a crazy season with the little bitty storylines, like the Kyrie whole unvaxxed, not able to play.
Yeah,
attended a game but wasn't able to play because you can attend the game.
See, that in itself was the part that I didn't like. Like if it was the entire franchise said no, you're either vaxxed or you're not in the building. So he couldn't be there at all. Yeah. I think I would have been like, well, that's really stupid because, the way it has been all year, he's been standing his ground, Yeah, and I respect that.
I think he did it to prove a point. He's I can be in this building because the state of New York says that I can.
Yeah, but I can't
NBA
play the
says
game.
I can't play in this arena.
Yeah, which is so silly. That's my whole point. Is if you're allowed to be in the building, just let him play. Oh, what's the point? Let him play.
I don't know, but like I said, they scare me. Boston scares me right now. Miami's obviously scary. All of these teams scare me if you're a Chicago Bulls fan.
Bro, right now...
they've lost 6 of their last 7.
Yeah. It's just, we had this come up as Chicago fans this year, and we were like, oh my gosh, it's finally happening again. And then it's just completely fallen. Now, I know we've been plagued with injuries.
Exactly. You need to put it all in perspective, too.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember where we came from just a season ago. We were trash.
We were. And this season...
We watched those games. We didn't talk about them, but we watched those games. And they didn't play well. It's whenever they traded for Vooch, that was a start.
Yeah.
Levine has proven that, when they got Levine, he was just an afterthought and thrown along in the trade. They didn't think he'd develop into what he is right now.
Which is a franchise player.
He absolutely is. He's going to get his max contract, and as a Bulls fan, I don't want him to leave.
Yeah, I would say he deserves it. Zach LaVine is the face of the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
Now, don't get it twisted. That's not taking anything away from DeMar.
DeMar right now is the star in Chicago because the way he's played this season.
Absolutely.
But you're right. LaVine is still the future.
Yeah, Levine's still young enough.
And the present.
Yeah, he is present and future. Because DeMar is older, but...
Well, that was always the talk is DeMar, why did the Bulls give DeMar so much money in this contract? He's an aging veteran player who can't make threes.
Yeah.
He's a mid-range shooter at best. And why would they invest this much money in a mid-range shooter when the game has gone three-pointer? Well, he's always been a remarkable scorer, how he gets his spots on the floor and he gets his shots to fall, and he's getting his.
Yeah,
Levine is getting his, and Vooch is getting his double-digit rebounds and his double-digit points.
Which is what you need.
They're doing well. That's not where they're struggling. And the problem that I have to say for Chicago Bulls fans out there is getting Patrick Williams back and getting Lonzo Ball back is not going to fix the problem. There are bigger issues in there, and I think this last West Coast trip that they're currently on has shown it. Because they had no reason to lose to the Sacramento Kings whatsoever.
Nobody has a reason to lose to the Sacramento
Absolutely
Kings.
not. They were out players. Now De'Aaron went off. That fair is fair.
Sure.
Somebody needs to pay that young man what he deserves.
That's right.
He's a star in the making.
Get him out of Sacramento. He deserves better.
But there was no reason they should have lost that game.
Right.
And then they lost the follow-up game against Utah. Utah's a good team.
Yeah.
Gobert is a great player.
Yeah.
But you should have played a little bit better, and there's again no reason to lose that game. These were winnable games because you have Giannis and the Bucks.
Yeah.
And these other games coming up that are huge. You can't really afford to lose anymore. You're going to wind up in that play-in game, and you don't want to be in that situation going into the playoffs.
Agreed. You want to have a, hey, you know what? We know we're in the playoffs. You don't want to have to be in the play-in game because all it takes is just like a bracket, like the NCAA. All it takes is a bad night and you're done.
Yeah, and we're trying to look at it from the other ways. All we got to do is get in because once we're healthy and I say we here like I'm on the team, but once the team is
fans.
healthy,
we're on the team.
It's what happens.
Yeah.
But once everyone is healthy and back and you have Ball and Williams, they have the potential to be with anybody. As we saw whenever they all played at the beginning of the season, they went 4-0. It was incredible watching them play.
Yeah.
I think that it's going to take some time for them to mesh. I'm looking forward to next year. I'm not counting them out this year. Not at all.
No, but we've been plagued and
the way that they're playing right now as the season's winding up, I don't have the impressions that this is the team. This is not the team that's going to bring home.
And I hope we're wrong, but I agree.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be real here. I hate being the wet blanket and sharing those feelings. And, come a couple wins, am I going to change and sing a different tune? Possibly. But what I've seen since the All-Star break, even before the All-Star break, is you see a DeMar DeRozan that's getting overused and getting worn down. And Zach LaVine is not at full strength. As remarkable as he is, he's not at full strength. But I think that this team is going to win a championship. I fully believe that with all my heart. You just got to get those other pieces. And I don't think Troy Brown Jr. and Tony Bradley and Matt Thomas are the guys that are going to get you there.
No. But, there is good talent that comes off the Bulls bench. And I think if we...
Kobe White could start on any team in the league.
Yeah, and selfishly, I hope he doesn't. I hope he stays in Chicago for at least another couple seasons because, I don't know. I know there's always something to be said for being the starter, but, whenever the sixth man comes in and gets more playing time.
I see a James Harden situation happening here.
Yeah.
I see him playing himself into a max contract somewhere else when it comes free agency.
Yeah.
Now, do I want that? Absolutely not. I think you should give that man his money and you should give Zach LaVine his money.
Yeah.
And reevaluate DeRozan in a few years. And I love DeMar.
But truth be told, though, obviously it's not time to. Yeah, exactly. And right now, of course, you're going to offer DeMar what he wants next season. But maybe in 2 seasons, you got to take a step back and be like, okay, this guy's aging, so let's look at this. But well, I would say, do you have anything else NBA related? You already okay. Let me do a quick breakdown. The East, we hope the Bulls do something, but they might not, and the West is still better. So
yes, the West Coast has proven, if not the games that I've seen, that they're very dangerous over there. That anybody can basically
the Warriors are taking off
catch
again.
fire, and it's the new Open 3 game, man. It's like nobody is ever out of a game. You fall behind 10 points, you can make that up in 4 shots.
And honestly, it was players like Dame Lillard and Steph Curry that really revolutionized this new version of basketball, which is like, oh, I crossed half court, now I'm going to shoot it, and it goes in, and you're like, what? Oh, you can now. He can't do that again. Then he does it again and again and again, and you're like, okay, these guys have limitless range. That's dangerous.
Well, that's exactly what it is, and it's like you said. Whenever we were growing up as kids, we were taught by our coaches those aren't quality shots.
That's right.
You try to work it inside to get a quality shot.
That's right.
And now that's like DeMar DeRozan's game. You work it inside, you find your spot on the court that you know you're solid from, you get your separation, you make your shot.
Yeah.
Not the way that it works anymore. Now you pass the ball around and try to get somebody open to where they have enough distance and space and hope that there's spacing where there's distance between the defender and them and they can drain that three from limitless range, basically. That's where it's gotten. They're the kids that are just dropping these rainmaker shots from
it's
half court.
Crazy. Yeah.
And it's like, you have no business making that shot. It's like, yeah, but I've been shooting that shot since I was 11.
Real quick, we do want to just go ahead and give you an update. The 2022 Masters Tournament will be Thursday, April 7th through Sunday, April 10th. If everyone could remember that this is golf we are talking about, you need to remain quiet so that we can hear the grass grow. Thank you. Golf clap. Hey, they struck a deal. We've got baseball. Major League Baseball is starting April 6th, opening day, right?
I thought it was the 7th.
Well,
let me check.
Early April is going to be opening day for Major League Baseball, so we are going to have baseball. That's fun.
April 7th.
April 7th, opening day. All right, Major League Baseball is back, and we'll start talking about that after the season commences. So basically what I was going to do is hand the mic over to you because this is really your area of expertise. So we do want to acknowledge the passing of legendary superstar pro wrestler Razor Ramon himself, Scott Hall.
The bad guy.
Yeah, the bad guy, man. So I'll let you talk about that.
This was a tough one for me, man, because growing up as a professional wrestling fan, see, I've been a fan of wrestling going back to the cheesy, overblown steroid muscle guy days.
Right, yeah.
But what really got me vested into where I followed it religiously whenever I was a teenager was like 1996 and NWO and the battles between WCW and the WWF.
Yeah.
And one of the guys who was foundation of that was Scott Hall.
Right.
And it hits me in the feels really hard to know that Scott's gone because he meant so much to professional wrestling, especially because without the things that he did, him and Kevin Nash making a decision to leave the lucrative WWF in New York to go down south to Atlanta, Georgia, and basically bet on himself to take a chance to go down there in Southern wrestling.
Yeah.
But also do it for the boys because they did it to, they know their worth. They know their value. And we're not getting it here in WCW. They've offered me more money.
Yeah.
So we're going to go down here and we're going to shake things up. Well, little did they know that they were going to shake it up the way that they did because that drew so many television views. I would go to school every day and kids would know what was going on with NWO.
Yeah.
And before I was, booger-eating wrestling fan. Like, don't talk to me that crap.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, you guys care now. It's because it's cool, right? It's because this guy was cool coming out there saying, hey, yo.
Hey, yo.
I think I shared a montage on the Facebook page of just the hey yos, like 20 of them. It's just crazy. But rest in peace, Scott Hall.
Yeah, I mean, Scott Hall, man, as a kid, I did like, WCW and all that kind of stuff, right? But I never followed it really. I just kind of watched it whenever.
Yeah, it was wrestling. It
Yeah.
was something that was on. You like, oh yeah, that's not real. It's not real, right?
Yeah.
I've learned enough of the inner workings of it. There's a point where it's real, but obviously it's a scripted thing. But it's very physical, very.
Oh
very
yeah.
real.
No, the physicality of it is very real, but I know it's to an extent. There's gimmicks involved. Like, hey, if you start to pass out, make sure to.
Yeah.
I've seen the behind the scenes stuff, and that's cool.
If you go out there and you just watch two guys wrestle and there's nobody selling any of the pain.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
ridiculous.
You're just like, so are these guys gonna
I feel like I shouldn't be watching this.
Is this porn?
It's kind of the way it felt whenever COVID happened and wrestling was still on television and there were no crowds.
Yeah.
Because crowd involvement is so key.
It is.
And that's what Scott Hall was great at getting was that crowd reaction. He'd come out there and people loved him or they hated him. And they even worked his inner demons into the plot lines because a lot of people at the time didn't know that Scott was struggling with addiction, like really, really bad. So they wrote it into the storylines where he was all messed up on screen. But in reality, you probably should have reached out and got him more help because that led him down a road. And I believe ESPN did an E60 on him at his lowest. I might share it sometime. Not right now. I don't feel it's appropriate because he's overcome it. But he was at his lowest where he had to be wheeled to the ring in a wheelchair. He got in the ring. He messed up his whole gimmicky speech and everything. Almost fell over, had to be wheeled out. That was at his lowest. And then through DDP, meeting his friend DDP and Jake the Snake and the rehabilitation of Jake the Snake, there's actually a movie about this.
Oh, really?
And Scott's involved in it as well because he, too, was struggling like Jake was with drug addiction and going down the wrong path. And DDP brought him a piece of...
We're talking about Diamond Dallas Page?
Diamond Dallas Page.
Okay, all right.
Diamond Dallas Page brought him in and they basically got clean and sober and got better shape. Scott was looking great, and within 2 years, they both got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. And like I said, years before, that E60, stumbling around in a wheelchair, noticeably intoxicated, and going to a hospital immediately after because just so messed up.
Yeah.
So that comeback is remarkable, and that's also where he delivered his famous line, which today I take to heart and still means a lot to me. It's that bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
Yeah.
So no matter how tough things get, no matter how low it gets, and believe me, Scott felt some of the lowest of the lows.
Right.
You have to remember that if you're the right person and you're living right, you can always redeem yourself and come back around.
Yeah.
So I love that redemption story. So rest in peace, Scott Hall.
Yeah.
Gone but never forgotten.
Right.
And, rest in peace to the bad guy.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Well, that's a nice little memorial piece for wrestling fans that will listen to this show and everything. Because I mean, like, even not being a big time wrestling fan, as a kid, I remember Razor Ramon, or I remember Scott Hall, and I remember Kevin Nash, and exactly, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall being like the Bash Brothers or whatever, of NWO. But anyway, we'll move past that. That's really cool, though. So yeah, I guess what we'll do now is there's been a lot of questionable trades, and it's been a very eventful offseason for the NFL so far.
Boy, has it ever! I feel like I'm sharing new faces and new places constantly.
That was too much information to take in on 1 week. Okay?
I know, right? That's kind of why I shared the last one, where it's like question mark. Like my head is just exploding from the amount of off-season maneuvers.
Okay,
and that's
so because I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm going to make a couple comments here. Number one being we let Randy Gregory go to Denver. Now that was his decision. His contract was up. He was good to go.
Exactly. But it makes the Cowboys egg on their face because they even tweeted out that they'd re-signed him, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah, and they didn't, which was the problem. And Randy Gregory that's a defensive end that I don't think we needed to lose. But what do I know, right? So there's that one that's kind of like that one stung. But before then, oh God! So we traded Amari Cooper to the Browns, okay? And most people are like, oh, but you got paid.
And for the record, a lot of people are rating this trade as a positive for Dallas. Like, they see this as a win, and I don't see how losing the number one target for your quarterback and the chemistry that they have together is a win, a victory.
Well, and that begs the question, well, what did we trade him for, right? It must have been big-time money and draft picks.
We got Baker Mayfield in return, right?
Yeah, essentially, you would think something like that. But no, what did we get? Well, the Browns GM gave us his wallet and the contents within, which was $3, a condom, expiration date 1997, and a picture of his grandmother. So that's what we gave Amari Cooper.
A fifth-round draft pick next year.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, that's what we got. A fifth-round draft pick next year for Amari Cooper. Why? We didn't. We put absolutely no respect.
We freed up cap space so that we could go out and go crazy this offseason signing all of these players because the offseason signees have been popping, right? All day.
Sure.
Where's your Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah. Here. Okay. All I'm saying is if we're going to free up cap space, and look, diehard Cowboys fan all the way. If I'm going to free up cap space, though, like, I have an overpaid, underperforming running back that I wouldn't mind getting rid of.
Agreed.
Like, don't get me wrong. I like Zeke. I really do. But he's overpaid and underperforming every game all season long. I'm going to
still a Colbyism here. He's washed.
He is.
I feel that he is. I hate to say that because I was a huge homer for Zeke for a long time. But it's the Marion Barber effect.
Yep.
It's so many miles and poundage and running that hard, aggressive style. It wears you down, and the longevity isn't there unless you're Travis Henry, apparently.
Right.
The longevity isn't there.
Yeah, it's just not. And, like I said, I think Zeke came to Dallas and he did his job and he did it well. But the problem is he's either going to have to adapt or he's going to have to find a new home because the way he's been playing.
They have too much money invested in him to continue for him to perform the way that he has.
Yeah, right.
Because he used to be one of the triple threats that they had.
Yeah.
Because they had a quarterback, they had wide receivers, and they also had a running back.
Yeah.
Right now, you got wide receivers. Oh, wait.
And you got Tony Pollard.
Well, yeah, you're right. There are other players.
Yeah, but it's not Zeke.
And it's not Amari Cooper.
Yeah. Golly, I'm sorry. That was Dak's number one target.
Yeah.
And you got rid of him.
He built
for
I don't want to say that they condom. I don't want to say they helped each other, but They did, because Cooper was his security blanket to go to, the way that Romo used to go to Witten.
Yeah.
When all else fails, check down to Coop.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So-
because Amari Cooper will find a way to get to the ball.
And he'll get the yak.
Yeah. But I don't know. Other than that, okay, so you got Baker, who
Demanded a trade.
Yeah, Amari Cooper gets traded to the Browns, and you think, oh, well, that might help Baker out. And Baker's like, I'm out. I want out of Cleveland.
First, he sends out this tweet of this love letter to Cleveland.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's like, bro, what's going on here? And then the next day, they break the news that he had asked for a trade, which was denied.
Yeah,
But that's the quarterback that's already has a turbulent relationship with the city of Cleveland.
Yeah. And here's the deal. And, C. Wayne might hear this, he might not. But I think the best thing that could happen to Baker is to probably get out of Cleveland. But at the same time, you have we all know he's got a reliable target up there now with Amari Cooper. So,
for sure.
So, who knows? Maybe he could do it. But I'm telling you this right now. I've watched Dak Prescott play with Amari Cooper. So if Baker Mayfield scrubs out with Amari Cooper, then I don't want to hear any of Colby's Baker touchdown maker stuff, because that's going to be on him.
Yeah, it's
proof's
over
in the
if that's
pudding.
case.
Amari Cooper doesn't have anything else to prove. He can catch the ball. He can run. He can do everything he needs to do to be a receiver.
I guess at this point we just have to be patient and see what the Dallas Cowboys do as far as offseason moves, because you look what the Packers have done. They made a weird trade today where they traded away a wide receiver, which I don't know how Aaron Rodgers is going to feel about that. But they got Aaron Rodgers back.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, look, man, I like Aaron Rodgers a lot. I really do. Like, I think he's a great quarterback, and I really like the fact that he was willing to stand up for his own personal beliefs, much like Kyrie in the NBA. I think that's great. I think that Kyrie did it the right way. I think Aaron kind of did it
a little weird.
Did it a weird, like, sleazy way, but neither here nor there.
You do you, baby boo.
Yeah, but like Aaron Rodgers, at this point, I'm like, bro, don't you want to spend some time with your family? And he's like, nah. That's why
I got unfinished business like Tom.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's another one, bro. Seriously. But did I not call it?
You did.
Did I not call it?
You said he'd be back.
Yeah, I was like, he's not retiring. He's not retiring. He's not going
Adam
to retire.
Schefter is not going to retire Tom Brady.
That's right. If Adam would have kept his mouth shut for 2 more days, then Tom would have come out and said, I'm going to retire. And then we could have all rested in peace knowing that Tom Brady is living out his life, kissing his 17-year-old son on the mouth.
What gets me is his reason for retiring was to spend more time with the family.
Yeah, and then he's like, I don't want to spend time with my family.
And
my family
now
sucks.
it's like I have unfinished business. Did you see that tweet where one of the players was like, bro, you've won this many Super Bowls, this many MVPs, this many Pro Bowls.
Yeah, what unfinished business do you
have left?
It's like, of course, and then Gronk's like, well, I guess I got to go back too.
Gronk came back. I think those are the best 2 offseason acquisitions that anybody could have made.
Yeah, it's just out of retirement, Gronk and Brady come back.
It immediately made Tampa Bay a contender again. Without a quarterback, they were a question mark next year.
Oh, man, see, maybe they could have got Baker. Anyway. So I can just quit day 2 and get that? And they're like, yeah, but
done.
Pretty
much. Like, if you get injured, it's a guarantee there, because that's what you're getting, at least.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's sign-on bonus money.
Man, I should have practiced more.
That's what I keep telling myself.
Yeah, man. Coach would put me in back in 82. We'd have won state for sure. I know it. Anyway, a little Uncle Rico for you.
So this is the conclusion of our first show, brother. How you feel?
Yeah, man, I feel good, man. It was nice to have a show that we didn't have to feel like we needed to rush through sports so we could get to everything else. But it also feels good on the other show knowing that we have time to expand upon things and have deeper conversation, because we're not trying to fit in our sports stuff, which is what we have fun doing this.
And next week's going to be great because we're going to see how wrong we were on our brackets. Or we can, talk on each other back and forth.
Oh, yeah. And hey, just so everyone knows, y'all be on the lookout for them Razorbacks, baby. National champions. Okay, we're not waiting on 2024 to make it an even number, okay? We're doing it in 22. We're taking the national spot, 22. Promise. Anyway, moving past that. Hey, seriously, though, I hope you guys enjoyed Sports Talk or whatever we end up calling this nonsense. But if you did, man, shoot us a letter. Give us your opinions. Tell us how wrong we are about all of our sports opinions and that good stuff. anyway, be on the lookout. We're going to do this one every week, just like the Hoot Hobbs show. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. Later, guys.
Good night.